Hello, I'm Belle Hahn, and welcome to The Birth of Reason. At the heart of today's episode is Judi Weisbart's sculpture, We Have the Whole World in Our Hands, a piece that invites each of us to find our own meaning within it. It reminds us that our world is precious, our fate is in our hands, and so are each other's. Simply put, we are not alone. In this episode, we hear from emerging voices, our featured youth artists, who share how they are using their art to explore purpose, intention, and the ways we can care for each other. We are also guided by our incredible human, Eva Haller, Holocaust survivor, activist, and advocate, whose own hands once carried the weight of the world and now continue to inspire generations to use their hands, their hearts, and their voices to protect, heal, and uplift humanity.
We are all human beings on one small planet in a universe of infinite energy. Let us use that energy for peace. We will only evolve if we do it with love.
Hi, I'm Judi Weisbart. You don't know me, but I'm here to talk to you about a project that we're working on called The Birth of Reason. I'm really excited that you're here to watch the very first show ever. And what's really exciting for me personally is that I've had 30 years doing this work, and you're going to see it for the first time. So thank you for coming. I'm an activist in a lot of areas, which you'll see from my art. This time I've actually chosen to create a YouTube channel, which, by the way, I had no idea what a YouTube channel was when we started. But a young woman said, no movies, no TV shows, you need a YouTube channel. So here I am. I'm going to hopefully do something meaningful and help people find their passion in the world, because I believe we all came with a passion. And I think the most important part of this show is to understand that art is truly the essence of human beings' communication. We've seen it on walls when the prehistoric men tried to tell us about their animals, and we've seen it on ceilings when Michelangelo tried to tell us about God. It is the way that we communicate, no matter what our language, in a way that is deeper than the words. And I think that for me, the most important part of this conversation is that we're in a time in the history of our planet that we have great fear. We're fearful of losing our planet because of the deterioration of so many of our environmental ecosystems. But we're also frightened by the people who are running many countries. We're frightened by the things that we never imagined, like having worldwide epidemics. And we as human beings have answers, and we are loving and kind and generous and bigger than we ever imagined. And that's what I'm hoping that this show will actually encourage people to be. Got the Whole World in Our Hands is a sculpture, and it is a large glass pyramid. And 30 years ago, maybe 28, this piece arrived in my hands. So this glass sculpture is actually a case for jewelry. And I looked at it for maybe 6 months and thought, what are you supposed to be? And then it told me what it was supposed to be, which is kind of what has happened through all of this. Is the work comes through me. It doesn't necessarily come from me, because the ideas just arrive. Fascinates me. I don't know how to explain that, but those of you who are listening that are artists, you totally get it. So I looked at the pyramid and realized that it needed a base. So the base that it is on is made out of metal. I designed it but did not make it because I'm not a metal worker. Found a metal worker who would make it. And on one side, there are stairs that come up to the pyramid. And those are the stairs that we climb to get to the world, to get to a better world, to get to the world that we all have in our hands. And on the other sides, there is a pyramid going directly down into the earth. I felt that we needed to think about going down And it's not hell, because I don't believe that that's where we go to. I believe we have beauty around us, both above us and below us. And so that's the base. And then I created all the hands, and they're actually those molds. Anyone who wants their baby's hands molded at a certain age knows this wonderful kind of gel-like substance. And I bought a number of those, and we made hands that we're holding like this. There are baby's hands. There's my son's hands. There's my mother's hands. A man who was about 6'7", who had huge hands. Those all are made into the basket which holds the earth. And each one of these sculptures came with a little, not poem, but a moment that I understood it when the words came through. And this particular sculpture, the words that came through were, "We are all human beings on one small planet in a universe of infinite energy. Let us use that energy for peace. We will only evolve if we do it with love." So whether it be Martin Luther King, or whether it be Mahatma Gandhi, or whoever you follow as a human being that changed the world, understand none of them were politicians. They were all human beings like you and me that chose to start a movement of love and peace for us, not for one person, but for every person. And this sculpture speaks to that. So I hope all of you understand that this is just the beginning. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to bring a lot of interesting people, and hopefully it will just open that space inside your mind that says, that's what I was thinking. That's why I'm here. That's what I want to change for the better. Because in all of us, we come to this planet knowing there's something there. We heard it as children, or we felt it, but we didn't necessarily act upon it. I'm hoping that what this show, The Birth of Reason, will birth within you is the reason you're here, and the birth of what touches your soul and what can therefore touch others. So thank you again for coming. I hope this is fun and enjoyable, and I look forward to seeing you again. So I am going to introduce you to my dear friend, Mandana Mir. So I want to talk to you about everything because you're just amazing.
Thank you. Likewise.
And thank you for joining me. I want to talk to you first, if I may, about Charlie. Who's Charlie?
Charlie's my 2-year-old nephew, and he's inspired these series of books.
And tell me a little about the books, because I find it fascinating. In fact, I want to show people some of your artwork of Charlie, because he is just the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Here he is. Is this with his mama?
It was me, actually.
Oh, with his auntie.
Cooking, yeah.
With his auntie.
I had the incredible opportunity of a lifetime to cook for Alice Waters. A 9-course Persian-inspired meal, and at the end of it, she said, "You need to have a cooking show." And I said, "Alice, are you sure about that?" And so I actually started writing the children's books instead, or in the meantime. So that's how they were inspired. She really inspired me. So definitely was inspired by Alice Waters.
And why did she inspire you?
You know, it's an interesting story. I used to live across the street from her in Berkeley when I lived in the Bay Area. And I always went to Chez Panisse, her restaurant, and it was just such a beautiful concept that she brought to the United States, which was farm to table when everyone was used to processed foods. I, on the other hand, grew up in Iran. My mother loved to cook fresh, unprocessed food every single day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She really put that in our DNA. And, you know, it really paid off, because even though I never once cooked in her kitchen, and it's the absolute truth, I had to learn by trial and error once I left home. And it was just something that I really realized is so essential for my health. As we know, this day and age, it's all about gut health, Rage, and how it affects our brain, how it affects our mental health, our mood. So that's how the cookbook also came along. It was putting that message of nourishment and the soul, and putting all that from the culture into the book.
And this is the book, but it's called Food Poetry. So why did you name it Food Poetry?
So in a way, it was a homage to my culture, but also my aunt, who is a famous also chef, Najmieh Batmangeli, she wrote a book called Food of Life, and it was sort of bringing that from family along of what she did and my mother did, my grandmother did, into this age of what food means to me. Food really is poetry, because once you eat something that's delicious, it becomes a part of your soul, just like poetry becomes a part of your soul.
Oh, I love that. We have that in common. My father was a chef. So I remember as a child growing up, not with a lot of processed food, but with someone who would teach me tastes. And someone who, in fact, my wonderful assistant, who's always hanging around and getting me everything I need right now, Sierra, tasted your beautiful cake that you made for us today. And her comment was that she didn't know so many flavors could go in one thing. So could you just tell us the 4 things that are in that so that we can understand the kind of, it's important, I think, for those who eat American food to know how simple a taste can be. So what are the 4 ingredients?
The cake that I came up with is actually ground pistachio that I just grounded myself this morning. All the ingredients from Trader Joe's. It's nothing exotic. It's locally available. Also grounded some cardamom and maple syrup and eggs. That's it. Those 4 ingredients and a little just baking powder. But 20 minutes in the oven and you have yourself a delicious, healthy snack, which you can actually eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I love that. Okay, so we have that whole part of you, which I find profoundly amazing because it is so simple and yet so flavorful. Everything that you do with heart. And what I really want to discuss, I think, at this moment is the paintings. Because I want you to actually take us on an art tour, if possible. Could you explain why you did these paintings and what they mean to you as a woman and what it means to you in culture?
So this series, which is a recent one, is a series of 11 paintings. And it's actually, I call it 4 Seasons of the Soul. You know, referring to the 4 seasons that we have experienced in different countries, not here in Santa Barbara. But, you know, it talks about the contrast of darkness that we experience in life, that it is essential. So for me, art is alchemy, where I, as an individual, for example, when I was painting Eva Haller, our mutual friend, it was during the war that was going on between Iran and Israel. And here I am originally from Iran, painting a beautiful Jewish soul who I absolutely adore, and I wanted to capture her light. I wanted to capture her soul and to make a point to myself and to everyone who would ever witness this painting that it is really about the light that we bring to the world. It's about focusing on that versus what divides us, or why would we ever want to focus on that? So anything that I do, whether it's children's books or cooking for someone or the book or the arts, it's really all the same thing. It's to bring people together. It's to bring light to the to bring focus to the light of the soul. You know, that's what my message is, I suppose, in this lifetime.
I love that. I'm so glad you came in the same lifetime as I did.
Thank you for coming to my life. Truly, it's an honor.
I'd like to hear from you how, in your world, the people and the experiences inspire you, and what does inspire you to do this work?
To be honest with you, what really has inspired me in the past several years has been women who really center themselves in the divine light. Women and men, I should say. But I've been mostly surrounded by a lot of women who have been my mentors. And Kathy Ireland, naming one, Eva Haller, you. There are so many to name, but really what they've taught me is that you have to be focused on the divine light on a daily basis, and that has really what has inspired me the most, to focus on the divine light and grow it. Having a daily discipline, a daily routine is extremely essential for succeeding in anything in life and achieving anything if you have goals, which I hope that we all do.
Many of the other paintings around your place are of women who inspire you.
Yes.
And who are a part of your world now. So we speak about a 7,000-year culture, and then we speak about today. And that, to me, is the most fascinating part about inspiration.
You know, so many people have inspired me, starting from my own family, my mother, my parents, my brothers, and again, all the incredible mentors such as yourself. So it's really paying it forward when we step into the action and we don't just speak about it, but we actually act and do what inspires us. Then others will be inspired by watching us. We don't have to go tell the world, hey, do this, do that. We just do our own, and they will be inspired. Someone will see, someone might, just one person. If I can inspire one child, that would be incredible.
Well, I have a feeling you'll inspire more, and you inspire me. I am so grateful that you were on this show. So please hear what we're here to say as sisters of a planet that is diverse and beautiful and artistic, and join us to be part of that amazing, beautiful change that exists on this planet right now, because we can only do it if we all do it together and we see the inspiration from each other. So thank you so much, Mandana.
Thank you, Judi. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you both.
I'd like to introduce Colette, Olive, and Miss Nora singing "We've Got the Whole World in Our Hands."
We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands.
You're amazing. Thank you all for opening this show with the most beautiful voices and fun ladies.
Now we turn to our incredible human, Eva Haller. Eva is a Holocaust survivor, philanthropist, and lifelong advocate for social justice. She was born in Budapest in 1930, survived the Nazi occupation and Soviet siege of Hungary, and as a child, she joined the Hungarian resistance to stand against oppression. After the war, Eva rebuilt her life in New York City, becoming a guiding force in philanthropy and activism. Today, we explore her story, how Eva channels her experiences and wisdom to uplift others, showing us how one life can touch countless hearts. And on a personal note, this woman, Eva Haller, has touched mine eternally. I grew up with this woman in the kitchen in Santa Barbara making chicken paprikash with my father. And we spent many, many moments together, Eva and I, together from 7 years old in the kitchen to 17 in the sauna, talking about life experiences, my love of work in the garden, her love of work with children, and arts and lectures program at UCSB. And this woman is not only an incredible human on this planet, but to our entire family. And it's truly an honor to honor her today.
Hi, it's me again, and this time I get to be interviewing one of our incredible humans. So Eva is a special person and is kind of the inspiration and the beginning light of many, many projects. And so, with that, my friend Eva Haller, I would like to ask you some questions, if you will allow me, to learn a little about you and why in this world you have chosen to spend your life as a philanthropist, as an educator, as a person who can really help others find their passion and their dream. Why do you think that is, and where does that come from?
You know, to answer this very simple question, I only need about 6 hours for the first part. And since I am 95 years old plus, I'm entitled to answer long and thoughtful. But this time we'll try to make it short and thoughtful. And I think that the question always is, each of us humans have a need to understand, how did we become who we are? Why are we who we are? Is there some special reason that made me into caring about others. And I think the answer would be very simple. And the answer is during the Holocaust or during the wars, we really needed to take care of not only ourselves, but all of us, all the people who were in the similar position that we were, because there was no survival other way. So it is a question of a young girl understanding that the only way to live and to find enjoyment and find security is by other people. Our recognition that our world is very small, because we just need to help each other in order for our survival.
So could you tell me a little bit more about where you came from as a child, and a little quick, I know it's 95 years, so it's kind of hard to be quick, but kind of where you came from, where you went to, how you got to Santa Barbara, California to be this amazing human that you are, which we're calling an incredible human.
Well, that's a lovely description of any human being. And I think that geographically speaking, I was born in Budapest, Hungary, and that was in 1944. The Germans occupied Hungary, but even way before that, they were exterminating people whom they considered Jewish or gay or whatever. And they have done a very efficient job in getting rid of millions, 6 million people. So after the war, we had hoped for a better life. So my beloved parents decided that I really need to get out. And when I was 18, I left Hungary and went to Ecuador, where we had family who managed to escape earlier before the Nazi business. So that's how I got to Ecuador at the age of 18. I had my son born, who today is 75 years old. And he's very good looking. And his life story and his wife and my grandkids and my great-grandkids would make this show a little bit longer. So maybe we'll leave it for another time.
Well, thank you for doing that. That was great. You then came to New York, I know, and you went to school and you got a degree. I know that before that you had a really difficult time. So what did that do to change the trajectory of your life at that time?
Well, I was 22 years old, and I left my child behind with my aunt and uncle, because I thought I come to America, I find a job, and I get my kid, and life will be beautiful. Well, that was during the McCarthy period, and America wasn't as benign as I thought it was before. So no, I couldn't get my kid out, and if I left the country, I would have never be allowed to come back in. So there were 6 years of my not seeing my kid. And it took 6 years before I had the student visa and whatever documents I needed to have to be a New Yorker. So I ended up cleaning houses in New York City, which was not a glamorous position because I didn't know how to use the electrical equipment. And in my first job, they had a machine to shine the floor, and the damn thing ran away from me, and I kept on running after the machine. So I gave up being cleaning woman. And so, had to wait until other good things came my way, going to the New School for Social Research, getting my bachelor's, getting my master's, and starting my doctorate at NYU.
The fact that we go around this planet, one of my friends, Tessa, used to say that we are all born on a golden ring that encircles the planet, and we will meet everyone on that golden ring as we do our journey through our life. And I think that for me, that has been true. I have met amazing people. Some of your people are truly mind-blowing to me. I mean, I've seen pictures of your husband, Murray, who is no longer with us, with
Einstein.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was that like to meet Mr. Einstein, Professor?
Well, after the war, the number of orphans that were in Europe not taken care of and not knowing how much are the orphans, do they have any relatives, anything. And Einstein decided to help the kids and bring them over to United States and use his prestige, his name, to influence communities to take in these children, these orphans. And my late husband, Murray, took this on as his job. And so, yes, our life after the war was full of unexpected moments, good ones, bad ones, but moments that we really are grateful for, because we could, if we can't have these relatives alive, we can build and construct their past and what we honor for them.
I love that. I'm going to ask you a final question.
Yes.
I think people are at this moment in history on this planet when really quite dark times are here again, when we are dealing with political and environmental and social, not only problems, but in some cases, nightmares. We need to stay positive. You've been through those nightmares for real. And I don't know how you've managed to keep that focus and create for yourself an environment of positive and supportive people. Can you give us a little idea how to do that?
Well, no, I don't think I want you to know how to do it my way. I don't ever want you to be in that kind of a position. But my hero in my life was my brother John, who was 7 years older than I. And when the Germans entered Hungary, it was a terrible time, but my father had enough money to get him out after 9 months of trying to figure out how to save him from the verdict of being hung in public. And the fact that he was saved then, and then he disappeared one day after he kissed us all and said, I am becoming a partisan. I'm going to cross over to Yugoslavia and to with Tito, and we are going to win the war. And so he disappeared, and we haven't heard from him until after the war, when his companion guys, young guys who escaped together and were hoping to reach Tito, one night when they were in a barn waiting for quietude to move on closer to the border, there was dogs barking and loud noises and shooting, and it was the soldiers coming after them. And my brother said to his 4 companions, you guys go. There was a back door they could escape, and I'm going to fend for us. But he did. They killed him. And the 4 guys were saved, and we heard from them the story of how my beloved brother John, who was always my hero. And when people ever ask me, why did I become, or why do I, or whatever, my only answer is, each time I do something that is important to me, I do it to honor the memory of my brother John. And so that's what I do. I just remember him, think of him, and keep going. And that's the story.
That was really a powerful story, and I know that's what motivates you. The other thing that motivates you is creating stories in the world, and I think that one of the nonprofits that you are very involved in is My Hero, the My Hero Project. I'd like you to tell us just a little about that and why that's important to you of all the things that you've done.
That's a beautiful question. My Hero Project has been around for 25 years, started by 3 young women, and it has become huge because it is a concentration of teachers. How do we get teachers involved in social issues? How do we get them to teach social issues? It gives young people the chance, the opportunity to make films, to do videos, to do very important projects within their own youth. The 8-year-old who made an award-winning film, you know, the 12-year-olds, or all of those kids who express their anxieties, who express their pain, and their curiosity in becoming filmmakers. And the teachers who learn from the students, because the kids get involved with My Hero, and the teachers feel that they are given a creative tool, because creativity is not necessarily what I think about when I think of school. And My Hero opens the door.
I love that. Well, Eva Haller, I love you, I respect you, and I am grateful that you are my first incredible human on this show. You are an inspiration to me. I hope you will be an inspiration to millions, because that's all we can be in life, is connected by our hearts and our minds to one another. And I thank you for being that in my world.
And I thank you for giving me an opportunity to love Judi more each time.
Thank you, my friend. I love you.
Listening to Eva Haller, her journey as a Holocaust survivor, philanthropist, and advocate, reminds us of the resilience and compassion within us all. If you'd like to stay connected and support this work, visit myhero.com. Together, we can carry this work forward, spreading light and inspiration.